Monday Night Raw is on tonight. It's in Providence, Rhode Island. So two matches have been announced. One of them is a six-women's tag match. It's Absolution against Bayley, Sasha, and Mickey. I've seen that match feels like 100 times. Why do we have to see that? And the other match announced is Samoa Joe against Seth Rollins. I think I've seen that back in February. I think we've seen that before. Yeah, that's fine. So, Kurt Angle came out, and Strowman interrupted, and Kane interrupted, and Heyman's out now. Oh shit, Brock Lesnar's here. So the first match for the Royal Rumble has been announced. Actually, probably the second. We already know the Royal Rumble match is going to happen, but it's a triple threat match. Brock Lesnar, Braun Strowman, Kane, Kurt made the announcement quickly. The three of them brawled. You think Brock would be a little bit more angry, but the three of them brawled. Brock sent Braun to the outside, and he F5'd Kane, and Kane does a sit-up. Old Glenn does his setup. Yeah, whatever. Just triple threat match. Don't have really high hopes for this at all, but it is what it is. That's your title match. So up next is Seth Rollins and Samoa Joe. I guess we're officially on the road to the Royal Rumble. This is right before the best time of the year in WWE, which is WrestleMania season. I think from after the Royal Rumble to WrestleMania is the best time to be a wrestling fan. Maybe even a little bit before the Royal Rumble. So we're getting to that time of year again. But up next, it's Rollins and Joe. So it's supposed to have a match. And Jason Jordan comes out, and him and Seth Rollins go back and forth, and he is just terrible. I mean, he's going to be a heel. We all know he's a heel, just haven't pulled the trigger yet. So Joe comes out, and he says, how about you two have a match to see who the winner faces me? So the winner's going to face Joe. It's Rollins and Jordan, and that actually is going to happen. Winner faces Samoa Joe. This is supposed to two dumbest baby faces, even though one of them's going to turn heel. So Rollins and Jordan. So backstage, Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose are complaining to Kurt Angle. Rollins wants to face Joe. Jason Jordan comes, and Angle makes a six-man tag. It's Rollins, Ambrose, and Jason Jordan against Samoa Joe, Cesaro, and Sheamus. So another six-man tag. Great. This is definitely a throwaway show. They go to a Bray Wyatt promo, and they look like, Matt Hardy's going to respond. Broken Matt's going to respond, but then Finn Balor's with the hits. Balor was getting beat up after the match by the Miz, Taraj, Hawkins, and I don't remember their name. Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel. They're beating him up, and then Hideo Itami makes his debut. We have Hideo Itami 3 years ago. So 3 years ago, they were teaming up on NXT Takeover: A Revolution against the Ascension, and they actually had a good match with the Ascension. 3 years later, I guess there might be a team again. Hideo Itami is on Raw. That's a nice story. He had all those injuries. It looked like that guy could get released, go back to Japan. Injury after injury after injury. Also, you have to take in fact the fact that he was completely overshadowed by Shinsuke Nakamura, who was a much bigger star in Japan than Kenta. He makes his debut on Raw. So we have Balor and Itami both on Raw. So I guess it's a tag team match now. It's Balor and Itami against the Miz, Taraj, so we're getting a tag match. So Corey Graves made a good analogy, I guess. What he said was Finn Balor debuted as Hideo Itami's tag team partner in NXT. Now I guess Itami's doing the favor 3 years later on the main roster. So Balor and Itami get the win. Hideo Itami hits the go to sleep for the 1, 2, 3. So Raw for Christmas in 1 week. 1 week is Christmas Day. Is in Chicago. That's all I'm going to say. Go to interview with Renee Young and Cedric Alexander. Don't care. So Enzo Amore is out. So Cruiserweights, I do not care. So Cedric Alexander beats Drew Gulak in that Cruiserweight match. So after the match, you see Enzo Amore backstage with Nia Jax. I wasn't really paying much attention. I just think that's a terrible storyline. Just that storyline really sucks. So Alicia Fox faces Asuka next. How many times have you seen Asuka kill Dana Brooke or Asuka kill Alicia Fox? Like 1,000,000 times each. It's just annoying. So Asuka destroys Alicia Fox, squashes her. We'll see if Absolution comes out. We're just a terrible team. So for the big 6-man tag match, they were having it, and I'll be honest, I fell asleep for a bit. I don't know if I missed the women's 6-man tag. I hope I didn't, because there's still like almost an hour left on the show. So in this six-man tag, Seth Rollins got pinned by I think it was Sheamus or Cesaro. One of them pinned him. I don't remember much about that. I just remember Rollins being laid out at the end, and him getting pinned. I don't know what happened with Enzo and Nia. I think I missed that segment. I know what happened. So unfortunately, she's back. It's Royal Rumble season. It was funny, right when they said it's Royal Rumble season, it's close to the road to WrestleMania, they showed the Brock Lesnar, Kane, and Braun Strowman graphic for the Royal Rumble. Look who pulls up in her Lambo but Stephanie McMahon. Stephanie's back to emasculate Kurt Angle, emasculate everybody on the main roster, all the men. She has to be the superior woman to every single guy. Yada, yada, yada. This sucks. I don't want to see her back. Go away. You old 40-year-old MILF. Leave us alone, you. And I have to emasculate all these younger people. Just make yourself the star of the show. No, it's not all her fault. It's how she's booked. She's booked to be Superwoman. I mean, no one's allowed to have anything over her. She doesn't sell for anybody. She doesn't give anybody any heat. You know, she won't put anybody over. It's just, ugh. Oh my God. Anyway, the show's going to start to be more brutal. So we go to a Woken Matt Hardy promo. I thought it was good. He's talking to the Fish Napoleon, and he's talking, about Bray Wyatt, and it ends with the delete. It's not special. It's just not the same. I don't know. Something, maybe it's in WWE. It doesn't feel as good. There's just something to it. It's just not the same. It's not bad. I mean, it's entertaining. It's different. But I kind of wish they were at the compound. And we get to see a lot more of, Broken Matt. I don't know. I mean, Woken Matt. I don't know. It's not the same. So I guess after the 6-man tag, I missed it. Ambrose must have injured his arm. I guess I didn't see that. He was backstage, and Sheamus and Cesaro jumped Ambrose. And Rollins, they were both backstage. They beat them both up, and they destroy Ambrose's arms. They drop like a big box on his, or not a box, like one of those things backstage. Some like metal container or something. They drop it on his arm, and I guess that's going to write him off TV for a while. So Dean Ambrose has been transported to a local medical facility. So, I mean, no hospital. Okay. So the Revival is back. They're up against Heath Slater and Rhino. We knew the Revival was coming back for a while. They're finally back on Raw. Injuries, both these guys getting hurt back to back for different reasons. They came back night after They debuted the night after WrestleMania. And it's almost WrestleMania 30. It's now the time that they're actually back, since with all their injuries, we're now closer to WrestleMania 34 than we are to WrestleMania 33. That is crazy just to think about that. WrestleMania 33 is that long ago. Now we're now closer to 34 than we were 33. So they win the match. They squash Rhino and Slater, basically. So the show, Stephanie talking to Kurt backstage. Maybe they're playing something for the Christmas Raw. And now up next is the women's tag match. You have Bayley, Sasha, and Mickey against Absolution. So Alexa Bliss, the women's champion, is not on TV anymore. I mean, she's barely on TV. She's a champion. We barely even see her. She even in the what is she hurt or something? We never see her wrestle on TV. Does she do anything? And I like her a lot, but what's the point of having her as champion? She's not going to even be used on TV. Maybe she's hurt. I don't know. She works the house show, so. Whatever. I see Sasha always slaps her ass on the whole show, so yeah. And by the way, I saw Corey Graves' interview with both of them about their match in Abu Dhabi. Sasha Banks and Alexa Bliss. I don't know. I've always talked about like there's heat between the two of them. People think there is. Maybe they squash it, but you can kind of think Sasha doesn't like her. I don't know if Bliss doesn't like Banks, but I really think Sasha doesn't like her. Some of the faces she makes when they talk, but I don't know what they're doing with the champ right now. But Sex Women's Tag Match is up next. So he did this thing with Heath Slater and Rhino. I guess Kurt Angle threatened to fire him. Now you have Elias in the ring. Yeah, God, I almost fell asleep again. I see all the women in the ring now with Elias. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I'm just really exhausted watching this show. I don't like how they're being used like that. Again, can we just set out an Amber Alert for Alexa Bliss? Where is she? Oh, there's a really cool sign in the front row I just noticed when Elias was walking out. Make WWE boss again. Alright. Yes, they will never acknowledge that, even though they do love Donald Trump. But whatever. Guess they're just being pussies. Which who doesn't love Donald Trump? I love Donald Trump too. Hell yeah, make America great again. Fuck you haters. Fuck you snowflakes anyway. Absolution's coming out next. So, okay, Absolution comes out. John Cena's coming back next week. He's on the Christmas edition of Raw. I guess he's a free agent. He can do both shows. I don't know what show he's going to be on permanently, but he's going to do both shows. He's on Raw next week. Absolution comes out. Neither of them just don't fit with each other. As I've said, Mandy Rose doesn't fit. I like her. I mean, she's extremely attractive. She's probably the hottest woman maybe they've ever had, but she doesn't fit with that group. She doesn't fit with Paige and Sonya. It's not working for me. The only positive I can ever say about this damn Absolution is they're not the Riot Squad. So they beat the hell out of Sasha Banks in the middle of the ring. They took out the other two, and they get disqualified. So Absolution's disqualified. Then Nia Jax makes the save. I was thinking Alexa's making the save, and then Nia beats them up, and then they beat up Nia. And then it's incredible. The Absolution takes down Nia, then Alexa Bliss and Alicia Fox and Asuka. And it's funny, Alexa and Asuka just come out like all the other look like random jobbers coming out. They have like nut. In particular, Bliss is the champion, and Dana Brooke too. Anyway, there's a huge brawl, and Stephanie McMahon comes, and I hate this. Absolution's been destroying everyone. They've killed all the women. All the women standing in the ring, they've all beaten the crap out of them, and then they're all standing in the line. And then that just bothered me. I mean, it's just like Stephanie breaking character. Anyway, what happens is she puts over Sasha Banks and Alexa Bliss for that match in the Middle East, and they're really hyping that up in Abu Dhabi. They even did a sit-down interview with Corey Graves, as I mentioned, and she says, "Let's make history one more time. Let's make history again, ladies." And just breaking character, all the Absolution. Anyway, it's like they're just breaking character. And she announces the first ever Women's Royal Rumble match in Philadelphia at the Royal Rumble. First ever Women's Royal Rumble. Not surprised, been hearing rumors of this. It's possible Ronda Rousey makes her debut in that match. That could happen for sure. That's it. That's how the show ends. And it ends in the yes chant. All the women are hugging. They're practically breaking character. You see Alexa and Nia hugging. Bayley and Sasha hugging. And yeah, great way to break character, but That's I guess that's a huge announcement. That's your match at the Rumble, Women's Royal Rumble. So it's interesting. Raw and SmackDown, I'm sure, will both be included. We now know 3 matches for the Rumble, and also I don't know, the champions are going to be there. Probably not. Probably no Alexa Bliss and no Charlotte, unless Carmella catches in. But that's for SmackDown. But definitely noteworthy. We're going to have our first ever Women's Royal Rumble.